The outcome of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee meeting yesterday makes the major headlines this morning. This Nigeria leads with CBN's 27.25% new interest rate, bleak future for businesses. Daily Independent also leads with the rising cost of living, Nigerians grappling with realities of soaring living costs, according to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Says challenges are testing the very fabric of our society. The Blueprint newspaper this morning also talks about the rise in the interest rate. Experts differ as CBN raises lending rate to 27.25%. And then we have the Daily Times newspaper taking a different angle. Nigerian army dismisses a female soldier who accused senior officers of sexual harassment. Very interesting story there from the Daily Times. The Vanguard also leading with the CBN's MPC meeting outcome. Unemployment is the angle that they're looking at. Unemployment up by 5.3% as the Central Bank of Nigeria hikes interest rate to 27.25%. More on that from page 5 of the Vanguard. Bottom of that paper, reactions trail Dangote's call for petrol subsidy removal. The Guardian newspaper looks at jobs. Growing jobless, self-employed Nigerians dim tax potential. More details on that from page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Nigerian News Direct, again, the CBN increases interest rate to 27.25%. Decision to further tighten interest rate unanimous, says Cardoso. NPR hike will slow down investments and economic growth, according to experts. Differing perspectives there, but more on that from page 6 of the Nigerian News Direct. The Nigerian Tribune also leads with the economy. Concerns as CBN raises interest rate to 27.25%. Manufacturers to continue paying high interest rates. Tightening of MPC detrimental to investment and economic growth, according to the CCPE. Nasima expresses concern. Lists impact on businesses, inflation. Over 4 million Nigerians unemployed in 2023, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. And we're seeing also from the Nigerian Tribune, the Edo election. Observers should not usurp INEC's roles. APC carpets Yaga Africa. That story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. The Daily Trust is leading with the story from the Army that we talked about earlier. Army discharges female soldier who accused officer of sexual advances. Cites mental challenge, exonerates colonel of allegation. And the Women Affairs Ministry is silent. And of course, we have that story from the Senate President at the bottom of that newspaper. Nigerians grappling with hardship, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. And these are the headlines from the newspapers this morning. I mean, quite a lot to talk about in the headlines today, but I want to start off with the Punch newspaper. And I know it's not going to form most of our conversations today. That's why I'm going to bring it up right now. And it's a follow-up on the interview we had here on Channel Television. Remember, yesterday on Sunrise Daily, we had Chamberlain also having an interview, a very in-depth interview with the Minister of State for Defense, Mr. Bello Matawale, and it was one that left a lot of us worried, a lot of us concerned about our country and what's going on. What were these things we were hearing? Well, governance may be a little distant from the people, and so for some people who've been talking since yesterday, when you get into governance, the intricacies are a little bit more complex. It's not as idealistic as you would want it to be. But there were a lot of things said in that interview that really gave us a lot of cause for concern. But what I'm seeing from the Punch newspaper, page 20 of the Punch newspaper is actually where I'm bringing this from. Banditry, the Zamfara governor reports the defense minister to the NSA. We're seeing that from the Punch newspaper. It's a very interesting one. If you want to be able to look at that, you can go get that. Then the Nation newspaper, also looking at the APC lashing Yaga Africa for the subjective reports on the Edo poll. So the Nation newspaper this morning, the APC chided Yaga Africa. That was a statement that all of us read yesterday and wondered what's going on, who crossed whose path, and who has upset who. So the Nation newspaper has that story as well. I think there's more on it from page 2 of the Nation today. APC lashing Yaga Africa for subjective report on the Edo poll. And you know, Yaga has a program coming up today. So we're hoping that we get a response from Yaga Africa on what it is that was said to them by the All Progressives Congress. Did they cross the line? And then the Daily Trust with this story. In fact, what even piqued my interest in this story is the fact that one of the things written there is that the Women Affairs Ministry is silent. Should the Women Affairs Ministry be silent? Is this something that the Women Affairs Ministry should probably wade into? What's the story here? It's a story that we've heard in passing about this female soldier who accused officers of sexual advances. Page 4 of the Daily Trust has more on that story. Well, they're citing mental challenge. What we heard from the military yesterday was that she was discharged with benefits, with disability benefits. So, what are the details? Was there some sort of, medical, exam done that really states that this lady was mentally challenged? And what's happened? What's this story all about? Well, I'm going to be reading more from page 4. I mean, we've heard from the military. We're seeing it in the papers today. So let's get all of the information out. But there, Women Affairs Ministry silent. Should they be saying anything? Should they wade into the matter? Should they look into it? Is it something they should probably check up on and say something? Because it is a woman involved. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out what the response will be. Maybe they will remain silent, or maybe they'll say something. We don't know. But those are some of the stories that piqued my interest. The Daily Trust is also carrying this Zamfara Lawa Matawale feud getting messier. So a lot to pick on the newspapers this morning. So get yourself a copy and then, of course, update yourself on what's going on in the country. Those are the stories we're looking at this morning. We'll be back in a few minutes with the conversations that would have to center around the CBN and the Edo elections. Stay with us.